Hey guys, this is Stephanie with the Sherry Strong Brain Trauma Organization, checking in with everyone this week on how they're doing mentally through their quarantine. Today I want to talk about, recently Georgia was opened back up partially, and I'm not sure if everyone agrees with that. Whether we agree or not, it just is. And when you're walking back into this, walk with caution, I would say, and pay attention to the signs that life is showing you. Whether we recognize or not, life is always showing us signs, leading us in the right direction or away from a direction. And I can speak with absolute truth that life does this. I want to talk to you about a few signs that I've been shown and leading me in the right direction. If you don't know me, I was involved in an automobile accident in 1993 and I almost lost my life. I lived 2 months in a coma on life support, and then I was told I'd never walk again when I was moved to rehab. Well, I did. I remember a very distinct day in that rehabilitation process that has driven me all of my life. And that day was a day I had my head hanging down, I had spit hanging out of it, and I was sitting in a wheelchair in a hallway of Albany, Georgia Hospital. Well, I didn't know who I was, I didn't know where I was, I didn't realize I'd been in a coma for 2 months of my life. Well, I turned 15 years old in that coma state, and the 15-year-old in me was cognitive enough to say, "Get up, what are you doing?" So I remember unbelting that wheelchair and trying to get up and falling to my knees at that floor. Well, I have said all over the world, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart and soul, that my life actually began on my knees at that hospital in Albany, Georgia, because that was a very humiliating moment for my life, but a very defining moment because I made a decision for myself. I made a decision that of all of the voices I was hearing around me, I was hearing people tell me, she's never going to walk again. They were preparing my family for ramps to bring me home in a wheelchair. Well, that stubborn part of me said, no, I'm not going out like that. And I didn't go out that way. 2 months later, I walked out of those hospital doors. And when I walked out of the hospital doors, I left behind a lot of memory, a lot of pain, a lot of things that I never wanted to see again. And then I spoke last week on the Boston Marathon bombings and how that, being a part of that, sort of changed the chemistry of my brain, I say, and made me take a look at life with different eyes and see things differently. Well, that hasn't been the only thing that's been shown to me, leading me. So once that opened up, I began paying a little more attention to what life was saying to me. And 3 months after that Boston bombing, I signed a contract to model for some tennis wear in Woodstock, Georgia. And I'll never forget this moment. I signed that contract, and I am on the tennis court in Woodstock, Georgia. And I can't lie to y'all, I was in this and my ego was a mile wide. I was very ego driven at this point. Even after all of that had happened to me, I pushed it behind me just like I did 20 years back from that car accident. Well, on the tennis court, the guy gets a call that's doing my photos, and it's the people that own the company. And he's very frustrated after he gets that call, and he says, "You go up to Starbucks, I will swing back by and pick you up." Well, I didn't question it. I just bebopped on up there. About 20 minutes later, he comes back, and I get in his car. And I flip around in the back seat, and I look, and there's an 8-year-old boy sitting in a car seat. He had his head hanging down. He had spit hanging out of his mouth uncontrollably from a brain injury. That was an absolute moment of grace for my life because I recognized myself in that. That was me in that wheelchair. I recognized it, what life was saying to me. Stop overlooking that. And I remember reaching over to the guy, and he was bitching and moaning about this and that, and I grabbed his hand and I said, "Look, it's okay. We can do this. It's okay. I know this situation way better than you can imagine." And I was able to calm him down with just my presence alone from what I had been through. So, the moral of this story is life is always leading you, whether you're looking or not. Life is always sending you signs to go this way or to go away from there. And have enough sense, especially after everything that's going on, to pay attention, to understand. See it with new eyes now. This is our rebirth. Share your strong wishes, everyone, a lot of love, and stay strong through all of this. But I love you. Stay strong, y'all.